Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
All right, guys, welcome in. It is the Monday edition, and happy March to you, March 1st, 2021. That's right, the college basketball tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. Excited to get the new month underway, and we're excited for the limited card here today. Some great games on it. We're going to break down 4 of them for you. Those games will include, look at that, Bedlam in the basketball court. OU-OSU round 2. We've got North Carolina taking on Syracuse. Arizona also taking on Oregon, and Dayton following up with the Bonnies here today. And, of course, we will go ahead and break these games down with, well, 3 of the absolute finest and best handicappers you will see here from WagerTalk.com. That includes Mr. Brian Leonard in the house here today, Mr. Dave Koken, and the guy downstairs below me there, Mr. Ralph Michaels. Guys, take a look at these Twitter handles here. Always a good follow there. At B Leonard Sports, at Dave Koken, at Cal Sports LV. Interesting games on the card here today. Brian, let me start with you, my friend. Happy Monday. Welcome to March 1st. Hard to believe here we are, but how was your weekend? What do you got going on $9 Monday right now at Wager Talk?
Well, if you want to know how my weekend is, just listen to Dave Koken and take the opposite. And that's what I was. College basketball was lousy for me this weekend. Hockey was basically the same as it's been all season, been solid. Baseball season is here, and I've started handicapping preseason. Just like last year, we had some success. So today up on the site, 1 college basketball, 1 NBA, and 1 hockey play, each for $9 Monday. And hopefully we could turn this college basketball around. It's on a great run until Saturday and Sunday and shit the bed. So hopefully let's get it back starting today.
All right, it's a new bed, it's a new day, and Dave, unbelievable run, my man. 14-1 college basketball, NHL over the last 5 days. Hell, you even had the outright winner in the golf tournament, my man. On fire. Congratulations. You're in the groove, man. Way to go.
I almost had 2 outright winners. I won with Brendan Grace in the event at Puerto Rico, 20-1, and played 2 there and won that one, so that's a big score. I had Victor Hovland, one of my 2 outrights at the WGC, and if not for an 8 on the 18th hole on Friday, might very well have won that tournament. So it's real good right now. Quick word on baseball, by the way. I do Major League Baseball exhibitions, but I will not do anything for the first week until the weird rules that are in play right now go away, one of which just took place in the Red Sox-Braves game. Now, this will change next week. They'll start going to 9-inning games. But for now, they can call the game after 6 innings if they want. And also, what we just saw in the Red Sox game, Braves had bases loaded, 1 out in the 2nd inning, but Richards had reached 20 pitches for the inning. So the Red Sox said, "Oh, that's it. We're done with this inning." And that was the end of the inning. You can't handicap that. That's absolutely impossible to handicap. So wait for the games to be real games, at least in terms of the rules. That's my advice as far as exhibition baseball is concerned. And I do like betting exhibition baseball, but I would not get involved under these crazy rules that they have right now. As for tonight, I have 1 best bet in college basketball. I have nothing in the NHL. I'm going to pass today. I have a free play. We're going to talk about the game here, the Arizona-Oregon game. But if you want to see my video on it, go to my Twitter page, at Dave Koken, or go to the my homepage, wt.buzz/DC at Wager Talk. And while you're there, read about the special that Ralph and myself have for college basketball. I'll let Ralph explain what it is. This is an absolutely fabulous special. That's enough for me.
That was very good. You're right about the craziness of Major League Baseball right now, guys. Make sure you understand the rules before diving in. That is for sure. Ralph, talk to me about this special and what you got going on right now at Wager Talk for $9 Monday.
Well, Joe, when you go 14-1, there's no shot clock, right? Dave's allowed to talk as long as he wants.
You're damn straight.
There is no time limit. I, in all sincerity, I want to apologize to the people that jumped on the special with what I did on Saturday. I went 1-5, and I don't apologize for bad days because a couple weeks ago I went 7-0. You put the two together and it's fine. The only thing I feel remorse about are the people that for the first day got me in that special on Saturday and had that horrendous run. It will turn around. So, again, a couple tough losses there. The special, still a great deal. $299. If you want to get college basketball through March Madness, it's going to cost you $299. But you can get Dave and me both from now through the national championship for $299. You can go to Dave's page or you can go to my page. The special is listed as both. You're going to get all the emails and all the plays we release. Dave and I both talked on Friday. Guys, do not wait for March Madness. The special is going to be the same price the entire week. And we both mentioned how we feel there is more value betting conference tournaments than there is actual March Madness selections.
All right, guys, opportunities galore, including $9 Monday right now. If you head over to WagerTalk.com, go to Brian's page, Ralph's page, Dave's page. Best bets, $9 across the board at WagerTalk.com. Let's make it a profitable start to the month of March as well as the week. And let's dive in, guys, if we can, to the 5 p.m. game here today in the Atlantic 10. We're talking Dayton versus the Bonnies here, and opened up at 8.5, total of 132.5. I am seeing some 7.5. I'm also seeing the total had come down a little bit, 131.5. And Brian, I'll come to you here as these two teams look to close out the regular season here. Dayton, well, they lost to St. Joe's there. I believe that was last Wednesday. And the Bonnies, they handled G-Dub no problem. So coming into this game, what are you anticipating seeing tonight?
Yeah, this game, as you mentioned, is going to be early, so I'm going to let people know this is going to be my best bet on the show today. I'm going to take Dayton here. The line's been bet down a little bit here, not getting quite the value it had earlier. But if you take a look at Dayton on the year, when they played a top 100 team, they've been pretty impressive. They haven't played quite as well as of late. They've lost 3 out of the last 4. Losing to VCU, Rhode Island, and St. Joe's. VCU, Rhode Island, both top 100 teams. And the Rhode Island game was a double overtime loss. But they are coming off a terrible game against St. Joe's. And I like to play on a quality team when they're coming off of a bad loss. They played VCU earlier this year, lost 66-43, bounced back in the next game after that, and won at St. Louis on the road straight up. I think I see a similar situation here. St. Bonnie's a team, I really like St. Bonnie's, but it's a situation right here that I don't have nearly the differential in the line is what the line is showing right here. And, both these teams, it's interesting. The best thing they do defensively is keep the opposition from hitting free throws. St. Bonaventure is 4th in the country. Dayton is 6th in the country. And neither team plays defense on free throw shooting. So they've been very lucky in that regard. Keep that in mind if these teams go to the next level and get to play in the tournaments, that a lot of this has been strictly luck from the foul line. But I like both these teams. I think it's a good spot for Dayton. And I talked about teams coming off of a bad performance. St. Bonaventure just had their best game of the season. They just blew out George Washington 88-41. So they're fat and sassy going into this game against Dayton. I like Dayton here. Catching the points, not quite as many as it was earlier, but I still think there's some value here.
Do not give Ralph a reason to hold up a picture of Marco, Brian Leonard. Thank you very much. Dave, motivation. The Bonnies really have nothing at stake here. They've already clinched the Atlantic 10. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the tournament. So how do you figure that into the handicap in this game?
I didn't factor it in much because to me, this is now we're getting into that situation where it's the last games, last week of the regular season, and teams are preparing for the conference tournament at this point, and it makes me reluctant to play regular season games unless I can see a definite edge one way or the other. I don't particularly see that for Dayton. It's not like they're going to make the tournament. with a win here. I mean, they're going to have to run the table in the A10, which I would think is quite unlikely. I'm not a big Anthony Grant fan. I don't think they're a very good team defensively. My number in the game is lower than the line. I made it St Bonaventure 5.5. I really don't want to get in the way of the Bonnies right now. But this is not a great situation for them either, because the game literally just doesn't mean anything. I guess you could argue that, well, they can't afford to take a loss for at-large purposes, but I think they're in, to be honest with you. I think the Atlantic 10 regular season champion is going to get a bid. So St. Bonaventure, in my opinion, for what it's worth, is already in the tournament. So to me, there's questionable motivation both ways. I think Bonnie is a vastly superior team defensively and probably better offensively as well. I'm really not enamored with Dayton. So slight value at the price with Dayton, but not enough to get me interested in betting it.
The total seems to have also taken some money here, Ralph, to the under. Not a very fast-paced team, this Bonnies. How do you see this tonight?
Well, one of the slowest 30 teams in college basketball, and I think that's where Dayton actually benefits tonight. Both teams at a slow pace. The game's only going to be, winner in the 60s. So you're getting 10% of what the total points are going to be scored, over 10%. And with Dayton, I think there is some urgency, having lost 3 of their last 4, wanting to take positive momentum into this. Remember, Dayton, a very, very shallow team, basically playing 7 players, and their 5 starters play tons of minutes. So keep that in mind when they're playing back-to-backs this upcoming week. But to me, slightly Dayton coming off the loss with both teams' tempos in 300s, and a game that, as you said, the Bonnies, the Bonnies impressed me last week coming off the sweep against Davidson, what they did to George Washington. But this Dayton team, a far better team than GW.
All right, there you go, guys. 1 down. Let's take a look at the ACC in this North Carolina-Syracuse matchup here tonight at 7 p.m. In fact, Eastern time there, as North Carolina opens up as a 1 point that's gone to 2 in some places, 1.5 in others. Total 149 has also seemed to have creeped up here a little bit. I'm seeing 150 and a halves here. And Dave, I'll come to you. What can you say? Down 41-29 at halftime against that Florida State, and they needed a win. They got the win, and now they've got Duke on deck, but they got to get through Syracuse first here. How do you see this going tonight?
Yeah, I think the intangible edge is on the Syracuse side in this game. Excuse me. They met once before the season, and Syracuse looked like they had a pretty good chance to win the game in the second half, but North Carolina got them down the stretch and won by 6. So there's a little bit of a revenge factor. Syracuse coming off 2 road losses to Duke and Georgia Tech. So you would think they'd want to get a win here. North Carolina, potential sandwich off the big comeback against Florida State, and then Duke up next. No value at the price. I made the game pick 'em. So, I guess you could make a case there's a tiny bit of value on Syracuse. But I do think from a scheduling dynamic standpoint, there's a little more of an edge with Syracuse. So I'll lean to the orange in this game. Matchup-wise, look, if North Carolina shoots the ball well, then they'll probably get the win. But they're not a good 3-point shooting team, which is sometimes what it takes to bust the orange zone. Not a bet for me, but I'll call it a lean on Syracuse.
Lean on Syracuse. I mean, Ralph, Syracuse has been a little bit more productive at home than certainly on the road this year. Have not been a good road team. How do you see them going up against North Carolina tonight?
Well, you look at their covers in the last 12 games. They have 4 ATS covers with 8 losses. The covers against Miami, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Notre Dame. And when you look at their defensive performances in those 4 wins and covers, they held opponents to 39, 33, 44, and 44%. But yet they held Clemson to 53, Duke to 53, Georgia Tech to 50. I don't think they're going to hold this North Carolina team that is seeing a lot of productive scoring from freshmen. They had 4 freshmen in double figures in that Florida State game. And then you also have the motivation where Williams Williams talked about how North Carolina had the big win against Louisville, and then what did they do against Marquette? I'm going to steal one of Brian's phrases, and they shit the bed. So, he showed him that film. He talked about how this young team has to be able to withstand a good win and not let it cost you in the next game. I do lean North Carolina, but for those that watched the show over the weekend, and we talked about North Carolina, Florida State, Mr. Koken was right on talking about Florida State not putting together two halves and being in a letdown role in a big game. So I will say this, he's had a better feel for North Carolina than I've had the last couple games.
Brian, it's an interesting spot, certainly for North Carolina. Duke is just sitting out there. They know it. North Carolina, Duke coming up next year. How do you think they do tonight?
Yeah, I'm with Dave on this side. I think it's just a bad spot for North Carolina. Keep in mind, the last time they played, they beat Syracuse 81-75. They had an offensive rebounding percentage of 53.3. They dominated the offensive board in that game. This is a terrific offensive boarding team. That 53.3 was a season high for North Carolina. They struggle from three-point range, as Dave pointed out. On the season, North Carolina ranks 290th in three-point shooting, 299th in free throw shooting. How do you have a North Carolina team without any shooters? That really concerns me here. And as Dave pointed out, you've got to be able to beat Syracuse by shooting over top in most cases. Now, I know North Carolina is going to get their share of offensive rebounds here because that's what they do, but they've got to be able to hit some shots to win here at Syracuse. And I think the line is fair here. I lean with Syracuse over the two. It's not on my card, but that's the side I'm leaning towards.
All right, there you go, guys. Quick reminder, too, before we get to the two late games, Pac-12, Oregon and Arizona, as well as Oklahoma State hosting Oklahoma. I do want to remind you guys, it is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. That means you can head over to Brian Leonard's page right now, Dave Koken's page, Ralph Michaels' page. Get their best bets today, guys. $9. It's an awesome way to kick off the month of March. Also a great way to start the week. $9 best bets right now at WagerTalk.com. Ralph, I'm coming to you. Pac-12 here. Oregon hosting Arizona here. Oregon they've been doing pretty well lately. This opened up at 5. It's staying 5. The total is what seems to have come down here a little bit. I'm seeing 138.5s, 139s right now. 7 of their past 8 they've won. The only loss for Oregon was against that USC squad a couple of weeks ago. That was on the road. Arizona, motivation, not a lot of postseason in their future. How do you see this going down?
Well, yeah, Arizona has the 1-year self-imposed suspension, so they won't be playing. I look at Oregon and I'm impressed. I like the way they're playing. I like the way they've improved, but they're still not getting margin. You look at their games: a 3-point win at Stanford, a 3-point win home against Utah, a 4-point win at home against Colorado. So despite playing well and getting the W's, just not playing margin. And I'm going to go back, and Dave has mentioned a few times, this Arizona team, what is their motivation? Do they have motivation? Well, they lost at home to Oregon, and this is the final game of the season. So, I have to think when you're a team that's not playing moving forward, you've won your last 3 games, including knocking off USC and sweeping Washington. I think you're somewhat motivated on the last. So without Oregon getting margin for me and Arizona playing as well as they are down the stretch, a slight lean to the Wildcats.
5-5 in their last 10, Arizona here, Brian, but it seems that they have no problem beating up the bottom feeders here outside of that big game against the USC. How do you like them going up against Oregon in this on the road?
Yeah, I'm going to give some props to one of the guys I follow on Twitter, John Fendler. He put out a tweet that Arizona, when they get 1 day or no days of practice before their next game, they're only 13-23 ATS. They're very good when they have time to prepare, but not so good when they're playing on short notice, and they did play 2 nights ago. And Ralph pointed out they're not going anywhere. This is the end of their season. The problem with Oregon is if you take a look at – I would take a look at free throw rate a lot because the team's got to be able to force the action And sometimes you're not hitting from the outside. You have to be able to draw those fouls. In 6 of the last 7 games, they've had a free throw rate of less than 25%. They're not getting to the foul line, which is, as Rolf pointed out, they're not winning by margins. That's something that you have to take advantage of. You can't be hitting well from the outside all the time, especially as you go on in this tournament and you find better defenses. Don't want Arizona here. Don't know if I trust Oregon given this size of a number. This one will be a clear pass for me tonight.
All right, clear pass. Dave, we've talked about Arizona a lot, motivation. What kind of team do you think we're going to see tonight on the road against Oregon?
Well, it's guesswork, but I think you're going to see an extremely motivated Arizona team. This is it for them. They have no more games. They can't play in the Pac-12 tournament or beyond that. And if there's one team they want to beat, it's Oregon. They've lost 6 in a row in this series, but they haven't exactly been dominated. Last possession game this season, Oregon hit the last shot to win it. Both games went to overtime last year. It's been a really close series. So I don't think there's any problem at all with Arizona wanting to finish on a high note against a team that's been handling them. Can they do it? That's the question. Oregon's still a really good team, especially at home. I made the number 3.5, so I think there's a little bit of value with Arizona. But what I do like here is the fact that this isn't all eggs in one basket game for Arizona. Nobody wants to walk off the court a loser for in the last game, and this is their last game. I think you get a big effort here. Whether it's good enough to win, I don't know, but I'm getting 5 points. That's good enough for me. That's the free play I used today. If you want to see more of it, you can watch the video, but you've got the essence of it here. And I did bet the game. Arizona is a play for me at +5.
All right, there you go. 124 total points in the first matchup here. The total does seem to be coming down a little bit, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. And that brings us to the final game of the show that we'll break down for you, and we'll get to some best bets and take a look at our friends from the Gold Sheet here in just a minute. But let's go Bedlam, if we will, huh? Oklahoma State at home. Henry Iva taking on Oklahoma. Essentially a pick 'em, -1 in some places for Oklahoma. Total opened up at 142 in this one, and I'm seeing right around that, 142, 142.5. Oklahoma even maybe getting a little more love. I'm seeing 1.5s in a lot of places right now. So, Brian, I'm coming to you first. We just watched this here on Saturday. Great game in overtime, but will Oklahoma State get any production outside of Cade Cunningham in order to win this game? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Oklahoma here. We are losing a little bit of point spread value. As you mentioned, it was pick'em, now 1.5. I think a lot of people are looking at the same thing I'm looking at. This is a home revenge loss for Oklahoma. They've only had 2 games that they've lost at home. First time was against Texas Tech, and then they went to Texas Tech and lost. And again, they lose that game by 5. So this is only the second home loss of the season, playing the in-state rival in an overtime loss. And if you take a look at the shot quality for this Oklahoma team on the season, they're in the 99th percentile offensively, 96th percentile defensively. What that means is they're taking quality shots. They may not always go in, but they're taking quality shots. They're shooting closer to the basket. They're not taking a lot of long 2-pointers. And on defense, they're forcing the opposition to take those long 2-pointers. And if long 2-pointers are worth 2 points, layups are worth 2 points. I'd rather be making my layups than worried about the team making some long 2-pointers. And you find that a lot. Certain teams are coached well. Lon Kruger, to me, just a tremendous coach. He just saw him a few days ago. Now he gets to see him again. Love Lon Kruger from his time here in Vegas. Just a good man and a hell of a basketball coach. I like Oklahoma in this game. I think they get their revenge tonight.
Over the years here, Dave, we've seen Oklahoma has kind of owned this matchup. Not kind of, has owned this matchup here in a revenge spot. How do you like Oklahoma today?
I can't figure the game out. Oklahoma doesn't shoot the 3-ball well, but they did in the game on Saturday. They were 10 for 23. Are they going to need to repeat that to win this game? It's very possible because Oklahoma State is going to try and force them to shoot threes. The one thing that was rang true in that first game on Saturday was the assist-to-turnover ratio. Oklahoma is a much smarter team with the ball than Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, 9 assists, 20 turnovers. Oklahoma was +2, 17 assists, 15 turnovers. And this is an ongoing theme with Oklahoma State. They are a terrible team as far as turnovers are concerned. They just turn it over way too often. And Oklahoma is the best team in the Big 12 in terms of not turning the ball over. I think you're going to get extra possessions on Oklahoma. But, man, this is just such a tough game. I think it goes to the wire like the first game did. I'll guess at Oklahoma, but I made the game basically a pick 'em. I don't want to lay a basket even, so it's not going to be a play for me. It's not even close. But probably the best game on the board to watch tonight.
Absolutely. And, you know, to Dave's point, very smart, this team here, Oklahoma and Lon Kruger. But they got outshot by the foul at the free throw line by 9 points there, Ralph. That was certainly a big factor in the way that game ended. Oklahoma doesn't commit a lot of penalties in these games, haven't all year. So what do you think is the key to this game here tonight?
Well, Dave talked about the turnovers. Obviously, that's because Cade Cunningham handles the ball so much. I mean, he had 6 turnovers on it by himself on Saturday. But if you're going to score 40 points and play 44 of the 45 minutes, I guess it's okay. Joe, I'm glad to know that your alum donations finally went to a good cause to pays for Cade Cunningham. So,
damn straight.
You know, we talked about a unique situation. They are going to honor him tonight. It's senior night. He's obviously only a freshman. They know he's one and done. They know he's going to be a top 1, 2, or 3 pick. So, you know, they're going out for a special night for him. But I just look at this Oklahoma team, and, you know, they were like a top 12 power rated team for me prior to these last couple losses. Yeah, the Kansas State loss was bad, and, you know, perhaps that led to 2 losses. But on paper, just watching Oklahoma enough, I think they bounce back. And, Joe, like, you know, we talked about before the show, you know, Oklahoma State had 23 made free throws to Oklahoma's 14. Are you going to get 9 more made free throws today? You know, that's probably something that's going to even out.
Yeah, well, it's been a while. I think Dexter Manley was the last time we paid for somebody at Oklahoma State. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at the best bets here in just a minute. But I do want to remind you, it is $9 Monday. $9 Monday best bets are available right now at Dave Koken's page, at Ralph Michaels' page, at Brian Leonard's page. Make sure you guys visit them. Great way to start off the week and the month here on March 1st by heading over and grabbing those best bets for $9. And let's take a look at our friends from the Gold Sheet if we can here, because they've got a best bet and they think they got a game that they have sent us, and that being Campbell here tonight, Ralph. It looks like Gardner-Webb taking on Campbell here, and they like Campbell here on this matchup.
You know, they point out, and I do want to remind people, the new Wager Talk College Basketball Stat Report, updated through last night, is now posted on my page at Wager Talk. And when you go to the Big South pages, you see Campbell was 11-6, third in the conference. They're playing the 6th seed here, yet they're a home dog. So the Gold Sheet finds that unusual. Think they're great value with Campbell. Again, Campbell went 15-9 in the regular season, 11-6 in conference play. Now, while, you know, the Gold Sheet does play on Campbell, this points out the interesting reason and why the game is picked. I have conference-only strength of schedules and conference-only points per game. Campbell's played the number 315 schedule, and they're plus 3.1 points per game, while Gardner-Webb has played a tougher schedule, not much, but 303, and they're plus 4.6 points per game. So the odds makers looking that in, saying that Gardner-Webb has played better points per game, but the record clearly favors Campbell, and the Gold Sheet play of the day is on them.
All right, there we go. So we'll start with best bets with you, Brian. I know you mentioned it early on. Game number 1 we talked about was the Bonnies and Dayton. So just recap it for us for those that just might be joining us. Who do you like in that matchup?
I just wanted to ask Rolf a question. If the Campbell Camels play better on Wednesday since it's hump day.
Ooh, okay.
You know, Brian, I had a question for you, too.
Oh, boy.
If a long 2-pointer is worth 2 points and a layup is worth 2 points, what's a medium range 2-pointer worth?
2 points, sir.
Okay. All right, good. I was hoping you'd go there. Yes.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the Dayton St Bonaventure game, and I do want to touch on this. Somebody mentioned senior night. I usually like to fade teams when they're home on senior night. Anytime there's time for a ring ceremony or some sort of ceremony, I think it hurts the home team, especially early in the game. Unfortunately, in this one, I can't use it as an excuse because St Bonaventure doesn't have any seniors. But I like Dayton here. I think it's important for them to get this victory. As Dave pointed out, St Bonaventure is a team that's likely playing into the future, and they're coming off their best game of the season. So I like to fade those type of teams. So I'm on Dayton here, plus the points.
All right, Dayton plus the points. And Dave, recap it for us. Where are you going with the best bet tonight?
Arizona plus the 5. If you want slightly more in-depth analysis, the written version is on my homepage at wagertalkwt.buzz/DC. Actually, the video's there as well. And you can also check in and get my $9 play for Monday, which is a best bet in one of the tournament games. And I'm 2-0 so far in conference tournament plays, so happy with that start. No hockey tonight. Absolutely, definitely no baseball. And again, take advantage of the special between Ralph and myself. Every play we've got in college basketball until they have crowned a national champion, $299 for both of us. Not individual, $299 for both of us. That really is a terrific offer, and I think we'll do well for you. Arizona plus the points, my best bet here on the show, and it is a play for me.
Less than 2 for 1. I love that. Great opportunity. And Ralph, how about it, man? Where are you going? Best bet tonight?
I'm going the Red Foxes over the Bobcats. Looking to the Mayak. And, Marist is playing their final game of the season. Quinnipiac has 2 home games against St. Peter's still to play. And looking at current form, I think Marist should be a 7.5 point favorite here. This is an actual client play for me. They're 4-2 their last 6 games. Losses at home against St. Peter's. On the road against St. Peter's and Siena, nothing wrong with those losses. Current form clearly has me on Marist tonight, minus the 3.5.
All right, way to go. We've got, I'm just going to drop in on Prairie View in the first half. I'll lay the 6.5 points here against Alabama State, 9 p.m. Eastern time on that. They got themselves a little bit of a scare last time out. We're only able to win by 1. I don't think that's going to happen again here tonight. I'll take the lay the 6.5 with Prairie View in the first half. Let's take a look at those best bet recaps. Ralph, going Marist, laid at 3.5. Koken, Arizona, motivated. This is it, plus 5. Brian Leonard taking Dayton, 7.5. I'm going to go Prairie View A&M first half, laid at 6.5. And the Gold Sheet, they like Campbell, plus 1 in that matchup. And you guys heard the specials and the opportunities right now. Wager Talk, $9 Monday. Go get the best bets. $9 across the board there with Brian, Dave, and Ralph. Make sure you hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. And then, of course, come back and join us again tomorrow as we do it all over again. So on behalf of Brian Leonard, Dave Koken, Ralph Michaels, I'm Joe Raineri. Guys, best of luck with your plays tonight. Come back and join us again tomorrow for another edition of the College Basketball Tip-Off Show. Good luck, guys.